Well, this is Pastor John, Crossway Multinational Church, and really pleased today to be able to interview Amara in connection with her service on the board. And yeah, Amara, really thankful for the time that you've given serving on the board, and just a couple of questions for people to hear your heart and things that have been happening. But I wanted to start with a question: why Crossway? Why are you a part of Crossway, and what's happening here?
Oh, thank you for that question, actually. So I was one of those the first time I came to Crossway, came with a chip on my shoulder, not knowing anybody at Crossway, not about Crossway, but about whether I was really feeling like church was something that still made a lot of sense for me the way I was seeing experiencing it. And Crossway really made a palpable impression. It was one that I ended up taking a long time to draw an arch to go like, gee, they're kind of strange. I kind of like them. And the more I looked at them, the more I liked them. But it was the vision of Crossway is really what is really has been inspiring to me from day one, but also to see people create lofty visions all the time. And I've been in settings where people tend to say, yeah, we want to be a church for all people and by all people. And then you look at any critical look about how this is being done or attempting to be done, because nobody does this perfectly. And you almost, but I'm a researcher, so bear with me for being somebody who just says something is said and then you go like, now we're going to put it to the test and see. And you actually don't get the sense that people are actually, that statement was something that people were even invested in. It felt good to say that. But people are not necessarily doing the hard work of doing that and the messiness and the commitment and that. So that's what to me is really why Crossway. It has a vision that all of us will struggle at, and all of us, it's all of our collective job to live out that vision. And when we're being honest about it, we'll realize that nobody does it well. But this is one of the places that has been really giving it a run in a way that is I've been impressed by how it's done, and
Mm.
it's not by all people. And I think that that vision is something that I think most people that have when they speak about why they like Crossway, somehow what I hear is sort of the way I think about the U.S. Constitution or Declaration of Independence. That we kind of hold these things to be self-evident that all men are created equal and they have the rights to this, this, and this. And whether you've ever seen America or not, that statement is hard not to love, right? And then
Mm.
let's see how we do it. And yeah, that's why Crossway.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And why serve on the board? It takes time. It takes commitment. Why have you chosen to do it? And yeah, and the journey that you've served with us.
The vision of Crossway was inspiring enough, but also one that actually keeps you really humble to go like, gee, how can we do this? Or what does it look like to live this? And so it's really again coming from that idea that this is such a beautiful thing that if we fail at it, right, we all fail, right, and then at least it's better to kind of try and then fail. And so doing that just felt quite natural. But I've also seen people serve and really give themselves in ways that just at some point I got into my 40s and I'm realizing that you're not really allowed to sit on the sidelines and talk about the things that don't work anymore.
Mm.
If you are really gonna every time you make a statement that this is not ideal, you have a responsibility to also think about this is another idea, this is another approach, this is the strengths and weaknesses of this, or something other than just being someone who just is
Mm.
not very productive in a group. So that's why.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, really appreciate you jumping in and being actively engaged. And yeah, your service on the board. What's it been like to serve on the board for people who have not seen that, experienced it? What would a simple way that you might describe what it's like?
So a lot of it for me personally has been, again, I've never served in this capacity anywhere, but it's really been a lot of growing for me and actually getting a perspective of what it takes. It's a perspective of what it takes to do church in a way that I hadn't had before, but also just thinking about a sense of responsibility for it's a small sense of responsibility for the health of the body that I hadn't felt before, honestly. I've always been one to be very supportive of the Christian and the church organization, but not from a place of saying, recognizing that you are a big part of, of trying to understand what this looks like. How can we build this together? How can we continue to live this out? Again, our vision is not one that is that I feel like we would all keep growing in this until we die in some way. So there is that part where I feel like it has served, I have grown more in it and it's done more for me as in
Mm,
my Christian walk than it has actually that I've
mm,
done on there. And
mm,
so that's what it's been like. It's been a lot of learning to think about just the amount of care and consideration and and it's healthy complexity of running human
mm,
beings. I'm a researcher, so there's some things that can look like it's sort of like a little bit of a two-dimensional space. You think about the strengths and weaknesses, and you find a middle point, and sometimes it can feel a little bit more automatic and not necessarily when you are really thinking about the way people make meanings, the complexity of lived experience, the
mm,
complexity of loving your neighbor well, the complexity of what it
mm,
looks like to be someone that, my goodness, somebody's going to look at you, and some people may want to serve God because you're serving God. Some
mm,
people may actually be really disappointed with this, and yet it has nothing to do with Jesus. It just has to do with the way the body is and that there's an art there that is
mm,
very different. And it takes the
mm.
spirit.
No, I appreciate that. And I'm especially encouraged by your sense of how being in the board has prompted more spiritual growth. And I'm in agreement and I really value that. And yeah, the complex space, the journey together. What would you say to somebody who considers, maybe somebody recommends, you ought to think about being part of the board. This was a first step for you to serve in a board. What would you say to somebody who might be challenged to consider it?
I honestly would say this is something where none of us ever feels that we're qualified to do this. So I had those hesitations. But I really think that this is something that, like I had a sense of my excitement for the vision of Crossway, and then you come away recognizing just how much spirit-led work and how hard and how consistent on a daily ongoing basis that people are working on this, right, and depending on God consistently. And I'd say for your own sense, I think so. I tend to be a critical consumer of whether or spender of my resources, right? If you're going to spend time and energy and raise young people or invite people to a space. Even from a selfish point of view, I would want to know what is it that makes this space tick?
Mm,
What do they do when they're not when it's not 10 to 12 on Sunday, or it's not the
mm,
time, whatever, right? Just and think about the way to sort of understand the space and go like, is this a place where I would want to continue to invest my time and make up your mind for yourself, and also see ways that your skill sets can actually
mm,
people contribute different things on the board, and how can that enhance the body. So I would say by all means do it. And I think I was so encouraged when I was thinking about this. I think Marita was talking about her experience on the board. It really helped me because I saw somebody whose life I could really relate to on many levels, and
mm,
so when she was describing her experience, I was like, yeah, that that to me was quite compelling,
mm.
and I was really glad to have had that opportunity. So thank you.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Encouraging to hear. And yeah, I'm in agreement. Yeah, hearing the testimony of people like Marita and others who, yeah, have talked about the good journey, the good learning, the good growth together, and yeah, this shared vision. And so I do want to just ask you, what are your hopes for Crossway?
Oh, yeah, thanks for that question, actually. So every year I feel like the space that Crossway the social space that it occupies is really quite unique. I think the fact that you can have people who come with a range of differences in life that are real differences, but can actually do life in ways that this are a large segment of our society is struggling to do.
Mhm.
And that doesn't mean that it's easy. That doesn't mean it's, but it really tells you that God has created people different on purpose for a purpose. And difference doesn't have to be scary. And every time I invite someone to Crossway, I go like, hey, come check them out and see, just get a sense of wherever you lean. You'd see that there's someone not who is relatable to you, but also the way that they lean in is really quite a breath of fresh air. And I
Mhm.
think that now more than ever, I wish that idea would I just wish you could get a viral moment and actually like have people see that and actually see that we have an epidemic of isolation and so many people are in community and yet they are isolated and you go like man you just wish that they could actually see more of that. And so I hope that Crossway honestly gets to become better known in the community, especially now.
Mhm. I agree so much. Yeah. So really am convinced that God is doing a unique thing, a special thing in this community. Yeah, coming together across our differences and leaning in, as you say, is not all simple, and yet what a beautiful thing. And so thankful for it. Well, yeah, I'm really thankful to take a few minutes to talk with you, and thank you for your service and especially your friendship and the journey together. So thank you very much, and yeah, blessings to you in the days and adventures ahead. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for your leadership. It's not, I'm always very impressed by how you do it all.
Hmm. God is good. God is
Yeah,
good
all
all
the
the time.
time. All the time. Thank you.
God is good. Thank you.